So, my wildest entrepreneurship experience was when I was in Edible Garden City, which is an urban farm. I got a call on the way to a meeting, and my boss said, "Hey, look, can you swing by the farm? It's pretty urgent. Like, scrap the meeting." So I'm like, "All right, sounds pretty serious." So I walked into the farm gate, and the first thing I saw was like SWAT team.
Must all entrepreneurs have big, crazy ideas or have skill sets that no one else has? I'm sure many of you guys are considering becoming an entrepreneur, but you don't want to take on all that risk and you don't exactly have a big idea that you can bring everyone behind. So I want to introduce you guys to Chris, ex-general manager of Edible Garden City, a social enterprise in Singapore that focuses on horticulture, education and rehabilitation of cities. He's a great friend of mine and I knew that he joined this team way before they could even afford a sink. They quite literally use PVC pipes to build a sink. So I want him to share with us the perspectives of joining a founding team, being stuck between the founder and the team, and building something that isn't exactly his own brainchild. I'm sure many of you guys will be in his shoes, and there'll be a lot of great juice for you today. So welcome to Entrepreneurshit Show.
Armored vehicles. And then in front of the armored vehicles, there was like ambulances, there were police cars, there were like 12 vehicles in the farm. I was like, what the hell is going on? And as I walk closer, I see my colleague, I won't reveal his name, but he was lying in a stretcher. His eyes were bloodshot, and he looked very dazed. And it was incoherent. He couldn't understand anything I was saying. I was like, dude, what's going on, man? And he was covered with, he was basically bleeding on his elbows and legs and stuff lah. So later I found out that he ran into there was a children's nursery close by, like our neighbor compound. He ran there. I think he started screaming and he said that people with parangs chasing him. And then he climbed over the fence, ran into some private estate houses close by, did the same thing, and then ran back into our compound, and he went into the finance office, and I think he just freaked out and sat on a chair.
It's pretty wild.
That was pretty wild. And the next thing I knew, the police took him away. They said, we will not reveal anything until, we'll let you know what happens. But basically, long story short, we never saw him again.
You never saw him again?
We never saw him again. The police took him away and we never knew what happened. And basically, we terminated his contract.
But not every day you have a SWAT team trying to SWAT a farm, okay?
Yeah. So
right.
this wasn't any normal farm. This was a social enterprise. And, the founder, Bjorn, he has a very good heart. Right? He really wants to make a change in the world. So his vision is that using farming as a way to do social good lah. And so this guy that we hired, he was an ex-prison offender, and we wanted to see how we can integrate this gentleman into society, right? By giving him value, because it was actually pretty good because the first year that he was in there, he's like the Hulk. Completely ripped, and he loves doing the heavy lifting and all that. So,
nice.
Actually, he was contributing a lot, during the first year that he was working. So I think that answers the reason why he's in the company. And we did see some positive change. Yeah.
So how was it like working with him? Maybe not the...
Yeah. I think I did enjoy working with him. He...
Why I ask, because I think a lot of people paint this very negative picture about prisoners and offenders, but we're all humans, we all make mistakes, and I just want you to kind of share your experience working with him.
Yeah, he was a very humble guy. He knew that he didn't want to go back to the prison, so you could tell that he was striving to be a better person and turn over a new leaf. And he was he had experience in boxing, so actually it was quite fun. We actually had he taught me how to box, and we did training together.
Cool.
It was fun. Yeah, it was really fun working with him. Yeah. It's just like one of us, man.
I think based on what you've talked about, you said that you're not very interested in a lot of the social stuff. Not that you're not interested, but you're not as vested.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a founder thing. Like your founder kind of
Yeah.
made you guys all kind of do it because it's a founder vision.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how was it like working with like founders like that?
Maybe to be more specific, that the founder Bjorn, how is it like working with him? Man, what a pain. But I mean, he
gets it, like, he gets it. Yeah,
don't
yeah.
worry, he knows. It's a love-hate thing.
Love hate.
To put it simply, like the grander his visions are, the more scary it is for the people trying to execute it. Because it's like for him, yeah, everything is possible, and then for us, like, oh my god, how do you get there, right? There's a billion other steps to get there. And the struggle that we always have is like, dude, stop over-promising. Stop. I know you're a good salesman, and I know you want to save the world and change the world, but we all have our jobs we need to do for the bread and butter, for the income to come in. So, and a lot of your visionary things takes time, takes investment. Like us trying to do both at the same time, it puts a lot of stress on the team. So yeah, it's every day is a struggle, to put it simply. You know, balancing that reality and idealism.
But do you then see yourself as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started selling, like, at home we had a lot of random books that people donated. And as a kid, I think I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was like, no one's doing anything with these books. Let me try to sell them. So in primary 1, I think I sold them to my classmates, like 10 books for $2 or something like that. So yeah, I do think I have some entrepreneurial traits. And I've tried a few random projects. I don't think I have as much of a risk appetite as many of these founders do. But maybe that's where I find that balance, right? I understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and I help execute the vision, but yeah, I'm not like super hardcore. Maybe at this point of time, I haven't found that thing that I would say I would be able to go all in with my own money and everything yet.
How hardcore can you get? Just kind of help us understand.
Can my working beyond get? Yeah.
What is something that you, after you come into the meeting room, it's like, we're gonna do this, and you'll be like, I'm quitting.
That's every week, man. That's every week. I give you an example, right? Hiring of the autistic beneficiaries was one of them, right? He really wanted to do it. He was like, let's hire 10 of them. And we're like, okay, first and foremost, you're going to need, operationally, you're going to need someone to manage these guys, and they're all 10 very different people. And at that point, we were just starting out our farm. So we ourselves didn't know what the hell we were getting ourselves into. We need to first build our farm, get our processes ready and stuff. And he's like, no, just hire them, and you'll figure it out. And yeah, that was really tough. The next 1 year was just like, we were dying. And on top of that, because at that point, it was just hard to manage them, because some of them are slower than, let's say, getting a machine, right? So you have to balance. I just want to buy a machine that can replace, all of these
okay,
jobs, right? But then you have to then balance this like really, really tricky situation. So I would say that was probably the hardest thing to manage.
And I just want to put it out there that we're not trying to critique. We're not social critics. We're just trying to share our personal experience in the process.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Don't send hate message.
No.
But yeah, so okay. And from there, right, it feels like, do you always think that, these kind of grand visions don't play out? Or is there a scenario where you don't agree, but then turns out once he insisted and, things kind of play out then?
I do think it's both. Like, there are cases where his ideas or decisions don't play out, and it doesn't make financial sense, and we have to kill it. And therefore, that's why he needs people to help him see that. And there are many times also that I agree that the founder's vision is so big and so wide that, we don't see it. The people on the ground, honestly, we have no idea. And many of these takes like 5-10 years to realize. So one example I can give is the Funan project. So at Funan Mall, we have a rooftop there. And at the start, we were invited to pitch for it and run the place. And after I did the math, I was like, honestly, it won't make money. So let's just not do it. Because we are already so lean, our team is like dying. We're gonna have to split ourselves in two, but we're not willing to hire any more people, right? So I disagreed. But then Bjorn was like, no, let's do it. I was like, fine. I mean, I don't know how, but fine. We just have to do it lah. And I know it was hard because I'm managing the guys on the ground, and they'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you asking us to go there? It's like such a waste of time. We're not making money, and have to deal with this for the next few years. But anyway, long story short, we did it, and I think like 3-4 years later, we start to see that whatever Bjorn had wanted to do with the vision, with getting people interested as a space to market urban farming, actually started to kick in. Like the returns came in not just in financial value immediately, but as a marketing value in a much longer time span. So there was one instance where I realized that sometimes we have to trust the crazy vision, and we have to just push forward and keep moving. And Bjorn is always right, like you have to keep doing something different all the time.
And being like the number 2, right, in the farm, like how was it like managing the guys? Like exactly like what you said just now. So it was a bit crazy, right? The visionary wants something done, and then you gotta tell everybody that, and everybody's like, 这个是什么? Like what's going on, right? So how was that managing the team kind of experience like for you?
Very, very, very difficult. I mean, first, I myself must be convinced, right? A lot of times I'm not. I think that particular experience was, to be honest, a bit tricky. My entire time managing. The backstory is I joined as a volunteer. I joined because what I saw was happening was their systems were so shit. They're using calculators to press like handwriting invoices, and just like, dude, there's something called Excel. And when I joined, it was to help them improve certain things. And then somehow they saw that I had certain value to contribute, and they promoted me to management. And so he promoted me. And so it was like a position that I was thrust in. I wasn't fully prepared for that. I didn't have the experience. So it was even harder because I was struggling with I don't even know how to manage. So that was a very, very tough time for me. Yeah. But in short, I guess I succeeded to some extent just by doing my best. Just whatever I needed to do, I did it, and people could see that. Like they knew I was trying my best. And I don't know, maybe there wasn't anyone else better in the team, to be honest. So they just had to deal with it. Yeah. But in terms of management style, I guess I was fairly straightforward. Like I have no ego in this is what job that needs to be done. Let's try to do it. Let's try to figure it out, right? Let's all come together. No hierarchy, nothing. Let's just make it happen. If we can't, then we'll go back to the crazy founder and say we need to maybe delay this or need your help in some things. And Bjorn was helpful as well in moderating that.
How was the experience like propagating this like no hierarchy structure? So
in fact, the irony is I had to actually bring in some structure, even though I preferred the no structure style. We were dealing with like the founding team that was very idealistic, and they had very strong values. And I was sort of the second gen, and we had to be a bit more commercial because most of our clients were commercial. And there was a bit of tension because the founding team couldn't get along with the commercial values. And clients just wanted things to look pretty, but founding team wanted things to be sustainable, ecological. And then they didn't want to follow these processes and stuff. So it was quite tough. But and I don't like following processes or hierarchy, but I guess at some point we had to create a hierarchy. And I started to realize that as your organization grows, it is, to be honest, Singaporeans, many of us can't deal with no hierarchy. They still need to be told. They like to be given like very clear-cut boundaries in order to function well. So I think it really suits a certain skill and certain kind of culture, but it's not beneficial for everybody. Yeah.
So you've moved on from Edible Garden.
Yeah.
You joined another team to do something else. I mean, in between you tried different stuff. So how was it like working with foreigners then? Like, because you said Singaporeans specifically, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Because my experience working with foreigners is very different also.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's very different culture, the way they do things. You know, I think Singaporeans are a bit more framed up lah. Right? Everything must be like like that, like that, like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of curious like your experience working with foreigners. Or other people in general.
So my current project with Bootles, my team consists of Ben, the founder is from UK, Angharat, the butchery director is from UK, Gypsy, culinary director is from California, and Tony, the marketing head, is from South Africa. So what I observe is that they are very direct, like, and also quite flexible. As long as you get something done, doesn't really matter how you do it. Yeah, and communication is quite key. Like you have the right to tell the founder that you disagree. And I think compared to like the Singaporean culture is a lot of passive aggressiveness lah. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
What is the kind of experience about passive aggressiveness?
Like on one hand, they expect you to do, like, they want Singaporean mindset lah. You want cheap, good, and fast lah. And then if you can't provide that, they expect that of you and of the team. But reality is like that's something has to give lah. Yeah, but I guess for people who or rather the current team, they understand that you choose lah. If you want good and fast, then it's usually not cheap. And they're willing to often pay for it. Yeah.
How is your experience working with these kind of people that pay a premium to do their job?
Yeah, so not marketing for the company or anything, but I think our guys are being paid above market rate for a similar job.
You can drop the job link. Like, sign up to join Poodles.
My observation is that so to give the context, we have chefs, we have farmers, or people hired as these roles, and what's the third one? I guess
grocers, butchers.
Yeah, butchers. Yeah, but all these sort of structures are not ready. Like the shop is being renovated, so everybody is doing different roles right now. So some of the farmers are doing operations.
I know. I went there, just 2 chest freezer, and you guys opened up the shop already.
Yeah.
And it's like some crates, and then, okay, very startup-y, okay, very cool stuff.
One of the chefs is doing photography and social media. So everyone's wearing multiple hats. I realized that everyone has this ability to cross work in different areas. They are also their initiative level is way off the charts, and that's something I haven't really seen before. Like people are going 200%. People are very helpful, and there's always going to be like the internal talk about unhappiness about certain things, but that's end of the day. Everyone is like, I find them like a superstar team. And it's like really, really easy to work with because there is just so much help and initiative going on. So it makes work very, very seamless. Whereas, if someone doesn't take initiative, you have to guide them and tell them what to do, which that's such a pain lah.
And in this whole mess, right? I think it kind of represents kind of your life also in some ways. Right, I know you for so long, right? It's like you went to Australia, study, and then you try all these different things, and I think along the way the whole family wasn't the most supportive. I'm curious, like, can you share a little bit more about that part?
Yeah, so I went to Australia to study aerospace engineering. Now the reason why I went to Australia, I think there's 2 parts to it lah. One is I definitely felt that, to be honest, I couldn't stand Singapore anymore. I was like, oh man, this education system doesn't work for me. I just wanted to get out of Singapore ASAP. I was doing engineering in Singapore, so I was like, I didn't want to do NTU, NUS engineering. That'd be so boring. But then I found a gateway, and I did aerospace engineering in Australia. And the second thing was, I found out that it was really where I was studying at was really close to the beach. Of course, I didn't tell my family that. And I just wanted to like have a nice escape lah, to be in nature and all that. So I graduated from aerospace engineering. I barely scraped through because, to be honest, I don't think I was good at it, and I wasn't really interested in it fully. When I came back to Singapore, I started a cafe. Again, wasn't really part of the plan. I was just helping them out because they really needed help. And so my family was extremely pissed off. Yeah, because my sisters, my mom, they funded my university. It wasn't cheap. My mom said, "What are you doing? You're engineer and you're now a coffee boy."
Exact words.
Yeah, you're a coffee boy. Like, you're not earning a salary. And I worked really hard. I was doing like 20-hour days, and I would come home and collapse. Like, literally, there was one day I literally like came home, dropped my bag, stumbled to the living room, like just lay on the towels on the floor, and then I passed out. Like, I fell asleep. Like, that was how tired I was every day. And then she was like, "Why are you working so hard? See, if you have a proper job, corporate job, as an engineer, you wouldn't be so tired." And my sister who funded most of it, she was just giving me shit, because she came from a corporate background, and for her, whatever I was doing was just being irresponsible. I am the youngest in the family, so it was just you being a young, irresponsible kid, wasting our family's money, wasting all the time and energy that we put into to save for you to study. It was just a lot of that noise, and I completely understood how they felt, and I don't blame them for it. It was just difficult to do what I wanted to do during those few years. Yeah. So that's what happened with family wise. Mainly these two people lah.
So how's the family sentiment now?
Completely changed, my mom's like advocating for me to a friend. My sister also, she's like, do you want to be a private chef? Do you want to she's giving me all this like lobangs and opportunities, connecting me with people. Yeah.
What do you think changed in this process?
I guess at some point I somewhat succeeded in my field. So even though I was, say, a farmer, I, wasn't just a farmer. I rose through the ranks. I added value. I was, in a corporate way, I was like a management.
I'm a chief farmer.
Chief farmer, CFO.
Chief farming officer. Okay, myself.
Yeah. Then they saw me in like the media, the papers, and all that, receiving awards and. Mostly on behalf of the company, not personally, but you're like, oh, okay, I guess this guy's like doing okay. Then I guess they understood lah, and they saw that I was happy. They saw that I was, not what they perceived me to be, like just a farmer or just a coffee boy. I was more than that. So I guess they understood. Yeah. I still get, I still get shit from them once in a while. My mom's like, "Why you work so hard? Why don't you join the army? They pay better." It happens, yeah. So I guess for me, this is interesting, right? Because I just never give up lah. I just got to be stubborn lah. I know they don't understand. I just have to stick to what I believe in now. And thankfully, like they do believe right now. Yeah.
Cool. And I know in between this journey, relationship kind of went nuts also. Right, so
I was in a relationship for like quite long, 5 years with my partner who was super supportive. Like we met when I was, and you know me at that period of time. I was figuring out who I was. So I was traveling because I didn't know who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do at that point of time. And I didn't really want to be there, start a relationship at that point of time as well. So I was in this like soul searching phase, and she saw me through that, and also being a very poor farmer, struggling with starting out, having very low confidence, to being fairly, when I was at management level, then I was quite stable. But then I was like sold my soul to the company. I was working crazy hours again. So she was with me, supporting me and understanding my journey that whole time. But eventually, at some point, I could sense that she wasn't getting the love and attention that that she needed, right? I was just spending way too much time at work, and I felt like, I guess intrinsically, I just prioritized work over her. And I didn't know why. It was just like an intuition thing. It was hard for me to prioritize her and spend time with her. And whenever I did have a little bit of rest time, I was just so tired. And I didn't really want to, in terms of social activities, what I enjoyed doing and what she enjoyed doing, there were many similarities, but more things I didn't fully enjoy doing, like, maybe just chilling at home watching TV. Yeah, I preferred to go to the library and read books, or just be by myself. So I think there was a lot of tension, because if whatever little time I had, I couldn't even enjoy that with her. I couldn't spend quality time with her. And then we started to drift a little bit from there. And also, I think when I finally started to realize what I wanted to do, I realized that it really fully wasn't aligned with what she, I guess, wanted. Like, she wanted to settle, to have a stable family, something rock solid. And I knew my personality was like you said, I'm all over the place. I love the craziness. I love adventure. I love uncertainty. And I kind of didn't want to settle. And probably I felt very guilty for not being able to provide that for her and to her. And I think one of the biggest mistakes I made was not communicating this feeling to her. So I just felt I just have disappointed her in the last few years, and I don't think I can, and I didn't want to disappoint her any further. So without communicating this to her properly, I just called it off without any warning. And she was absolutely devastated because I kind of think that she would have accommodated and accepted it, even at a certain uncertainty. So there was just how would I put it? On hindsight, I think I would have done things differently, in terms of how I would have communicated my feelings, or asked her how she felt. But it is what it is, right? And how I felt 2-3 years ago is very different from how I think and feel right now. Yeah, so I guess to sum it up, I would say a big part is how I felt. I cannot explain fully in a very practical way, but it's just a gut feeling that some things were not aligned. Like, I just was, in terms of values, I was moving towards a more naturalistic tree hugger kind of lifestyle, and I guess she just was more comfortable with something more stable, more certain, and maybe that's where I couldn't reconcile. Yeah. But it was painful, because everything else, she's a really sweet and lovely girl, and I do enjoy her company. So it's not like we were on bad terms. Yeah.
And that is really part of being an entrepreneur, right? Like to recognize that, the work hustle is pretty nuts.
Yeah.
And your life is very dynamic, very crazy. And, the entrepreneurial partner has to be kind of entrepreneur also. If not, it's going to be pretty tough.
Or at least, understanding of what it's going to be like.
Yeah. And what happened after that?
What happened was every time I don't want to get into a relationship, get into one. So there was one event that was happening at the farm, and I bumped into Cheryl. She was, long story short, she was there not so much for the event, but she was there to cause she wanted to visit the farm, so she tagged along with her friend. And when we first met, I just felt something. Like a strong connection with her, and we briefly spoke about some of the activities that we are within our scope of field. So she's very interested in the environmental stuff, like climate change related stuff, and nature as well. And it was just like there was just a connection straight away. Well, it wasn't immediate. Like I felt something. But then only when I went back home, and a few days later, it just started to sink in, and I was like, oh, there's just something there's just a certain alignment, a gut feeling that tells me that there's a very, very strong, the force is strong. There's strong resonance with values. And the more we got to know each other, it wasn't very long, but it was just like, okay, I kind of know this is the person I want to be with. Yeah, it was very fast. Yeah.
So then, I think you've shared a lot and a lot of crazy stories, and I just want to know, why do you still do what you do after so many nut shit shows? I know way more lah, but
I've been in this trajectory of hustling really hard. And then after 3-4 years, or 2 to 4 years of a particular project, I go, I'm so tired. I'm so burnt out. I don't want to do this ever again. And then I take a couple of months sabbatical, a break. I completely zone out. And then I'm like, I'm so bored now. I need to do something crazy again. And I was just thinking about this today, and I realized that I guess I start to have a different perspective now of going through the suffering or pain. And this is a quote by, I guess, this yogic guy called Sadhguru. He's like, pain is just a way of feedback. It's how you perceive that pain that is important. People perceive that pain as suffering, but you don't have to think of this pain as suffering, right? You can think of it as, as a learning experience of one that you can turn it around and become a better person. So when I go through a crazy time, when I experience the tension with my founder these days, I just tell myself that, you know what, this is how I need to reframe this challenging situation or painful situation or this crazy hours that I'm working. How do I take it positively, right? And when I think back, okay, let's break it down. If I wasn't doing this crazy thing, right? Back in the day, if we were all hunter-gatherers, what would we be doing? We'll still have to, go through the challenge or pain of hunting, hiding in some cave, waiting for some bull to shoot. It's not easy as well. Nothing is easy. So why don't we just accept that it's not going to be easy and make the best out of it. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Awesome. Cool stuff. Okay, so I think Chris is an interesting guy, right? Because he's a very good friend of mine, as you can tell. There are a lot more things that we can talk about, but for the sake of you guys, we kind of keep it, sufficiently interesting, but not crazily juicy. Next time. But he's an interesting personnel because he's not exactly founder, but he's quite an entrepreneur because at the least he's like a co-founder or he's, like founding team. Right? So I think as an entrepreneur, you don't always need to have your own ideas. You can go around and find, worthy causes or worthy projects to participate in, right? And that is also a very beautiful way to be an entrepreneur, right? Because honestly, you think every day you got interesting idea, man. Every day you got some revolutionary thing to work on. It's not always the case, but you can always participate on someone's interesting idea. And I think Chris shared a lot of interesting, a lot of good stories to just kind of, for lack of a better way to put it. I hope you learned something from him. He has. Oh yeah, and I want you to know that I think it is very brave of him to talk about the relationship part. He's not a douchebag. Okay, it's not like change girlfriend like that. Okay, so it's a lot more complicated. But I think what I wanted to really show was that being an entrepreneur, a lot of things change, and some things that we thought could be there forever turns out that probably that's not the reality. So yeah, thanks for staying all the way here, and Chris has something additional for all of you. Okay, one last question. Okay. So if if someone wants to be an entrepreneur, or participate in an entrepreneurship kind of thing, what is one advice you would give them? I mean, you share a lot, but
help me understand because I mean you yourself are very entrepreneurial, but and it's not a like an entrepreneur thing. It's like a journey, right? What are you thinking of when you're asking me that question?
I want you to think.
Who is that person?
So it's just someone wants to, try out their own stuff, start their own venture, do their own startup, or even join a fast-growing startup, join a new venture, be a co-founder. What kind of advice will you give them? Wherever you come from.
I think it'll be two things. The first is it's gonna be a journey. So whatever you do, just try first. Like don't. Then the second thing is maybe don't need to be caught up with the whole glory of entrepreneurship, like the whole Silicon Valley exit plan, sell your company. It's a journey about how you figure stuff out, solve problems, and end of the day, if you create enough value, you do enough good stuff to people, you will get the value that you deserve. It is in the form of finances, in the form of recognition. If you don't get that, you will get it later on. Yeah. So the journey you might suffer for many years. This suffering might be 10, 20 years. You never know. For you getting like very little money, maybe, but your learnings will always carry you. It's like compounding learnings. It'll eventually pay off at the end of it.
Like compounding earnings.
Exactly.
Compounding learnings. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. Thank you.
All good, man.
Thank you. Cool stuff. Thanks, guys. Awesome.